You are lying awake, staring at the ceiling, while your brain runs through every possible worst-case scenario for tomorrow. It feels paralyzing, like you are trapped in a maze of your own making. We often try to ignore the anxiety, forcing it down and telling ourselves to stop worrying. Intrusive thoughts with more thoughts is exactly like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. It only feeds the flames. Human willpower is the wrong tool for dealing with an anxious mind. Relying on it alone leads to a cycle of recurring defeat. The Bible frames the human mind as a high-stakes spiritual battlefield, distinct from the passive sanctuary we often assume it to be. The moment you became a believer, you stepped onto this battlefield, yet most Christians show up to the war right between their ears, completely unarmed and unaware of the stakes. There is a specific 4-step tactical plan designed to permanently evict these toxic tenets from your brain. Achieving peace requires the aggressive, uncompromising mindset of a soldier securing a perimeter. Step 1 is to recognize the thought the exact moment it breaches the perimeter. When fear or doubt tries to set up camp, you only have a few critical seconds to act. If you miss that window, the thought stops being a passing visitor and starts forming a permanent neurological pathway in your brain. Observe intrusive thoughts objectively. You are a gatekeeper, and you do not have to claim every passing worry as part of your identity. Once you spot it, step 2 is to reject the lie. 2 Corinthians 10 commands us to take every thought captive, which means arresting these thoughts like criminals the moment they appear. Acknowledging a thought is in your head while simultaneously stripping it of its authority is your first true act of mental sovereignty. Many people successfully delete a bad thought but stop the process there, only to find the anxiety comes rushing back minutes later. Nature hates a vacuum. If you empty your mind without a plan, your brain will naturally pull in whichever negative patterns are most familiar to fill that space. This brings us to step 3, replace. Romans 12:2 calls for the renewing of our minds, which requires us to occupy that mental void with divine truth. If you lose your job and panic floods in, you catch the lie, reject it, and replace it out loud with Philippians 4:19, declaring that God supplies all your needs. A toxic thought is only truly defeated once its mental real estate is permanently occupied by an undeniable truth. Neurological research indicates that the neural pathways for gratitude and the amygdala's fear response are mutually exclusive. As one activates, the other quiets. This biological constraint prevents your brain from simultaneously processing toxic anxiety and genuine gratitude. Step 4, redirect, uses this wiring to force a mental shift, channeling your intensity directly into praise. Look at Paul and Silas in Acts chapter 16. They were beaten, bloody, and locked in heavy chains at midnight in a dark stone cell. In that moment, they chose to sing. This was a tactical strike against the enemy of their souls, entirely divorced from their physical pain or their feelings. The physical consequence of that mental redirection was immediate. God responded with an earthquake that shattered their chains and threw the prison doors wide open. Channeling mental battles into passionate worship elevates the process from psychological suppression to active spiritual sanctification. By recognizing, rejecting, replacing, and redirecting, you move from a state of mental paralysis to a secured, armored perimeter. Scripture teaches that the outcome of this war was decided 2,000 years ago. Our role is to stand firm in the victory Christ already established, rather than struggling to achieve it ourselves. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. So here is your challenge for today. Identify one specific recurring lie in your life and locate one Bible verse that directly contradicts it. Write it down and set it as the lock screen on your phone. Deploy it as a daily visual interrupter to arrest that toxic loop the second it starts. Drop a comment below with the verse you are using to take control today. Share this battle plan with someone who needs it. Mental sovereignty requires decisive, continuous action. Now go take your mind back.
'Cause we walk by faith and not by sight, into the gray, into